Hi, everybody. It's me, Abby. I missed you so much. Hopefully, you missed me too. I'm sure there's some people here who don't miss me. I'm getting a lot of hate comments lately, which I kind of like that. I'm a Scorpio, so I like the back and forth. I kind of like arguing with people in my comment section. Anyway, um, so I wanted to talk about this TikTok video. Okay, so there's a white woman on TikTok telling her story about her experiences dating a black man. And what she revealed was a bit disturbing. Not disturbing to me because I understand my race of men. I understand that when they're dating non-black women, they love to engage in race play. If you just looked at P Hub for any amount of time, or you go over to Twitter and you search any sort of interracial dating that involves a black man, you will quickly see that black men love race play. They love it. If you don't know what race play is, go ahead and Google it. All right. But this wasn't just about like a toxic relationship. It was more so about racial identity, self-hate, and the disturbing obsession some black men have with black women, even after they claim they have moved on. I think we need to talk about it, and black women need to start asking the right questions. So let's start with what this white woman actually said. She talked about how her black boyfriend would bring up black women constantly. If they argued, he would compare her to black women. If she did something he didn't like, it somehow became a jab at black women, even though he was in an interracial relationship. Black women were still at the center of his every critique, insult, and outburst. Then she revealed that in the bedroom, he wanted her to call him the N-word with the hard R. He wanted to act out slavery role play. Just let that sink in. He wasn't just into domination, he's into being degraded, specifically being racially degraded. And he asked a white woman to fulfill that fantasy. And now I'm going to show you all a video I'm going to show you guys that video of that white woman and her experience, okay? And then we're going to come back and talk about it.
As a white girl who has dated black guys since the age of 15, I feel like you guys need my perspective on this Shannon Sharp shit, because everything I'm seeing is like white women are fetishizing black men. Like the Shannon Sharp Sitch, like the girl said something about, I want your black baby, right? I have had black men come to me and say, I want you to have my black baby. Not, I want you to have my baby. That's the acceptable response. No, I want you to have my black baby. And I have had black men ask me to say very derogatory things in bed. Yeah. So part of it is not that white women are fetishizing black men. It's like the opposite. And I feel like this isn't being talked about, and I don't want to get any hate for this, guys, because this is my personal experience, but I've had more black men than not mention race in our relationship as like a king. I don't know. I don't even know if that's like the right way to describe it. But there are some black men in this world that I think like I don't know if they want to reenact. I don't know if it's like a power trip of like, I don't know, but I just feel like that piece is important to this puzzle.
I'm assuming BW means black women, and this is the crazy part, okay? Every black guy that I dated loves black women. Like, my ex, I want to make sure this comes out right. My ex always used to tell me that he wanted me to be more like a black woman. He wanted me to be like a strong black woman. It was always this reference of like black women as like the pinnacle of what I should be, right? Which was just totally, I'm white. I can't be that. But it does make me wonder if like deeply rooted in some of this is that they want to be with black women, but maybe don't feel like they're worthy of being with black women. So they settle with white women, but they really want a black, like, I don't know how deep it is, but there's multiple layers. I think there's like a lot of things you could probably unpack from this. Yeah, they never said anything negative about black women, literally just like praise them. I don't, maybe that's just because of like, again, my situation. I don't know. But yeah, that is like one thing that I found odd in all of it is like, they love black women. Like, they talk so highly of black women. This is interesting because every argument that I got into with my ex, you know how all arguments really boil down to like one problem? His problem was that like I wasn't good enough because I wasn't black. And mind you, he's not visually impaired. So he knew what I looked like when he met me. And like, he's dated all races, right? He's not just dated white girls. He hasn't just dated black girls. Like, he's dated like a good mix of women. And so that always struck me as odd in arguments. But then there would be times where, say, we'd be like out and I would do something, like I would just do something and he would be like, oh, like my black queen, like like he would like be like, oh, like you did that just like a, you know, like a black, like he was like obsessed. Nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm borderline obsessed with black women, but like, it was just, you're dating a white woman. What is happening right now? And then you tie that in with the bedroom stuff where it's like role playing certain situations or just like using the hard R, and like you just really wonder psychologically what is going on. Like, is this, I wonder, is it like this weird sadistic, it's not even sadistic really, thing of like and like they just want to like control a white person? I don't know how that's going to come off. This might not go well. Sometimes I wonder if that's really it, amongst a plethora of other reasons. Okay, I know.
All right, so we all just heard what that white woman said about her experience dating black men. And just to let you know, this is nothing new. If you're on TikTok chronically, like some of us are, then you already know a lot of white women have come out over the years and spoken about their experiences with black men. And it's usually the same exact story every single time. But somehow, black women are still shocked, still in disbelief, still acting like this is brand new information. And what usually happens is, instead of listening or maybe holding that black man accountable, usually black women will take the black man's side. Every time they start questioning the white woman, you know, is she lying? Is she just trying to bring a black man down? They'll ask why she's even said anything, or they'll tell her to mind her white business. It's like clockwork. Okay, so in this next TikTok clip, I'm gonna show you guys, you know, the black woman and how she's reacting in this video. So she made a stitch to Brooke's video, the white lady, her name is Brooke. She made a stitch to that video. I just want you all to pay attention to what she's defending, what she's discussing, and what she's choosing not to question.
That's like the right way to describe it. But there are some black men in this world that I think like want, I don't know if they want to reenact. I don't know if it's like a power trip of like, I don't know, but I just feel like that piece is important to this puzzle. As a white girl who
she had her stitches off, so I had to do it this way. But both of y'all are the problem. Why are you not running for the hills? Why is that not telling your brain, oh, he don't like me for me. He simply likes me because I'm white. I don't have to have any qualifications, anything except for being white. Bam, he likes me. They know who to pick because they know there are white girls out there who's not going to go for that, going to tell him, weird, then like move around. And then there's people who are going to say, oh, well, he initiated it. He started it. I was just going along with it, but he started it. Like, that's slow dinner. And as somebody, I've only dated 2 white men before. One of them was like, you know, a teensy bit serious, but I know it would never had went anywhere because it was just something to do when it was nothing to do. But we actually did spend a lot of time together getting to know each other. But I have a black son. I cannot have a white man raising him. But never one time did either one of them, like, race was never brung. And one of them who we just went on a couple dates before, Sitch had it on the phone. I seen his baby mama before because she worked somewhere that I worked, and that lady was the complete opposite of me. So then I can assume that he likes me for me and not just, oh, she black. Because his baby mama, she was white. She was tatted from head to toe. She dressed in her white girl attire. Like, she wasn't even one of them white girls who want to be black. Swear to God, they black. Like, I said, oh, okay. So he don't got no tie. He just like people. I like him. But that didn't really go nowhere because he had to blow the dry. And I'm just like, it don't make no sense that you are a white man and you getting pulled over. That means you do too much. If you done got pulled over too many times to where they done had to give you whiskey plates, I can't fool with you, sir. And then the other white man that I dated, he only dated Black American and African Americans. It's a huge African population in the Twin Cities. And so he has only dated women who look like me, but he was never weird about it. Like, never. And then black girls on here be like, oh, I could never date a white man because the first time he say, you want some of this white, I'm out the door. Like, imagine say white to us, but y'all letting these black men get away with saying anything to y'all. That's cute. That's fun. That's funny. And since you didn't initiate it, you're not the problem, and it's not a problem because the black person is the one who initiated it. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. And something else I wouldn't allow, if those white men were talking nasty and negatively about white women, that would not have been cute to me. I would not have thought I was the prize. The one that specifically dated black people, he never mentioned white people. He never mentioned white women. And I asked him one time, like, why you don't kind? And he said, I don't know. It's just like no attraction there. Like, I'm really attracted to black women. I think y'all look good. Y'all dress good. I like the way that y'all present yourselves. He never, ever, ever women. He just told me the things that he like about black women. You ask a black man, why don't he date black women? Instead of saying the things that he likes about his preference, he's going to black women. Hey, what the?
So here's what we're not going to do, right? Here's what I'm not going to do. I am not going to center the white woman in this conversation because this is not about her. It's not about whether she actually called him the N-word in the bedroom, because a lot of black women on TikTok were questioning that. That's not what this is about, okay? She even said in one of her follow-up videos that she didn't say that. But let's say that she did. That's not the point, right? The point is that he asked for it, okay? He requested that. Okay, this is frustrating me because of what black women are turning it into, right? And I know you're asking yourself, what are black women doing? You know what they're doing. They're being mammies and they're running to the defense of the black man like they always do. They're jumping into the conversation and they have started analyzing the white woman. They're questioning her. They're blaming her. Meanwhile, the black man who initiated this behavior, obviously he gets a pass. That is why black women keep losing in these situations, because instead of holding black men accountable, they look for someone else to blame. Okay, this white woman didn't wake up and start degrading a black man. He requested it. He wanted to be humiliated in that way. That should tell you everything you need to know about where his mind is and how deep his internalized racism goes. Okay? I'm not sure why black women are so confused. Why are you confused about this? Black women, I want you to know that a lot of black men, they don't just tolerate racism in relationships, they usually invite it, especially in sexual dynamics. It's not just about being kinky, it's about being seen, being wanted. For some of them, being racially degraded becomes a form of validation because they've been taught that their blackness is only valuable when it's under control. when it's entertaining, sexual, or submissive. They don't ask white women to call them the N-word because they're trying to reclaim power. They do it because being degraded confirms what they already believe about themselves deep down, is that they are unworthy unless they're performing or being dominated. It's the only time they feel attention, and they confuse that attention with love or desire. For many of these men, their self-worth is so low that they fetishize their own pain. They romanticize struggle. And instead of rejecting the systems that dehumanize them, they try to sexualize it. They make racism a fantasy because they think that's all they're worth. And when a white woman goes there with them, hey, they feel chosen. It's very weird. They feel powerful in their own humiliation. Like they've finally gotten a tease of the attention that the world has always denied them. And here's what makes it worse. Some of them see it as like a retaliation against Black women. They don't just want to be degraded. They want Black women to know it's happening. That's why they brag about it. They talk about it online, or they casually throw in references to what their white girl does. It's not a secret shame. It's a performance. It's a warped way of saying, look what I can get. Look what I made her do, even though deep down, they're the ones being used and humiliated. It is not about sex. It's about power. It's about identity. And it's about how lost some of these men are in a system that has taught them to hate themselves so deeply that the only way they can feel seen is when someone confirms everything negative they believe about being Black. The part of this whole situation that really blows my mind is that how some Black women in the year of 2025 are still confused. You're confused by this behavior? Confused that a Black man would want a white woman to racially degrade him? Confused that he would request to be called the N-word with the hard R in the bedroom? My question to you is how? How are you shocked? Y'all are supposed to be the most educated demographic in this country. But the topic of a Black man wanting to be racially degraded by non-Black women, that's too much for you to fathom. We are in the age of information. Everything is online. The truth is out there. On podcasts, in YouTube videos, Twitter threads, Reddit posts, it is everywhere. This isn't 93 where you had to stumble across a book or overhear a conversation to know what's going on. In 2025, if you don't know, it's because you don't want to know. You are willfully ignoring it. And let's be honest, most Black women have a front row seat to this. Your cousin, your brother, your uncle, your daddy, they're dating outside their race. They're making TikToks bragging about how white girls treat them better. They're in comment sections defending non-Black women who say wild, anti-Black, crazy stuff all over the internet. But still, some of y'all act surprised when it comes to light that these same men are requesting racism in the bedroom, like you never saw it coming. And don't get me started on the history. You know about slavery. You know about George Floyd. You know about Jim Crow. Right? Jim Crow laws in the South, legalized segregation, separate water fountains, lynching for looking at a white woman, all of that. You know how deeply rooted white supremacy is in this country. You know white people, for the most part, haven't changed. They've just gotten sneakier. So Black women, why is it so hard to believe that some Black men have internalized all of that hatred and now find pleasure in it? Why is it so difficult to understand that a man who was told his entire life that he was worthless might actually start believing it and then seeking out relationships that confirm it? And here's what I think. It's not that y'all don't know how racism exists. It's that you don't believe Black men would welcome it. That's the part that baffles you. That's the part that you cannot wrap your mind around, because for so long you've been taught that Black men are the victims of racism, that they suffer from it, that they're fighting against it. So the idea that some of them crave it, that they enjoy it, that they invite it into their relationships and bedrooms, that is breaking your brain. But that's why I say you don't really understand your race of men. You know what you hope they are. You know what you want them to be, but you don't actually know who they've become. You have seen them turn on you. You've seen them praise women who mock your features and mock your mannerisms. You've seen them ignore police brutality unless it happens to a man. And yet you still expect them to be protectors, leaders, kings, even when they're out here requesting slave play and calling it intimacy. Now, some black women, they weren't surprised by this story. I'm very proud of them. They've seen too much. They have paid attention. They stopped giving out the benefit of the doubt years ago. But for the ones who were shocked, why are you shocked? You're not confused because the lack of access to this information. You're confused because you're in denial. It tells us more about the man that requested it. You and I and everybody, we know that a lot of these white women are racist. We already know that. Is that the issue here? I mean, sure, some would say yes. I say no. The issue is that the black man, he opened the door for this. He requested to be racially degraded in a sexual way. But instead of looking at him, some black women are somehow trying to figure out a way to make it her fault. This black woman, she also went off topic. She started talking about how, white men that she dated, they would never degrade white women. Of course they didn't. Duh. Most people aren't carrying around the kind of self-hate that many black men are carrying. That's not news. That's not a point. That's a distraction. You can't compare a man who is secure in his identity to one who clearly isn't. This isn't about what you would or wouldn't allow. Okay, this is about a group of men who ask for racial humiliation, and they're still being defended by the very women that they claim to no longer want. And this is exactly why black women will continue to lose. Every time a story like this comes out, a large group of black women immediately focus on the white woman and they ask, why would she agree to that? Why didn't she speak up? That's not what you need to concern yourself with. The real question is, why did the black man request it in the first place? Black women, you don't seem to understand what's happening with the men that you defend. You coddle them, you make excuses, you continue to make them your preference. And even when they humiliate you, directly and indirectly, you protect them. They humiliate you. How are y'all confused? You guys still refuse to hold them accountable. Until you start holding them accountable, nothing will change. It's not ever going to change. You'll keep losing in these dynamics because the real issue isn't what the white woman did. It is what your black king asked for and what you're still refusing to confront. Okay? Let's go even deeper. Maybe, we should scroll through the comments under any video where a non-black woman expresses a black man's twisted behavior. A lot of times you'll see black women scrambling to defend him. That really irritates me. They'll call the woman a liar. They'll accuse her of exaggerating her story, trying to redirect the conversation. Why? Because some of you would rather protect the fantasy of black men being perfect rather than facing the ugly truth. This behavior is not rare. This is not one isolated case. It's not isolated. There's countless videos. There's tweets that, come on, black women. There's clips all over everywhere. They go viral all the time. These black men, they bring up black women constantly, even when they're not dating us. It's weird. They want to be dominated and degraded, just like during slavery. They're still into it. It's very weird. And what do you do as a black woman? You look away. You shame the messenger. You say, well, why are you airing this out? It needed to be aired out Because these men are not just embarrassing themselves, they're obviously embarrassing us too as a community. We're all embarrassed. A lot of y'all are letting it happen though. Let's talk about how generational this problem is. Your black mom, your aunt, your grandmother, they all did the same thing. They covered up for these men. They babied them. They taught their daughters to protect them, excuse them, and never question them. And now that same behavior, it's still trickling down into the new generations of women who still can't admit that, you know what, maybe, just maybe, these men don't deserve the protection you're giving them. Okay, you claim you want love, black women, you want respect, you want marriage, you want loyalty. Okay, but what are you really fighting for? A man who wants to act out a slave fantasy in the bedroom? A man who turns every disagreement into an attack on black women even when he's not dating one? A man who treats his non-black partner like a racial prop while keeping you in his mouth? Some of these men, they're not choosing white women because of love. I mean, some of them are. A lot of them, they're doing it out of revenge, out of resentment. They see these women as trophies, proof that they have escaped the black community and now they're above the struggle. And instead of calling that out for what it is, which is anti-blackness, a lot of you double down and keep crying for their love. I don't know why. You have built these black men up. You have shielded them from criticism. You fight their battles. And I just don't understand why. The only person who's going to protect black women is usually black women. The sooner you all realize that, the sooner you'll stop being emotionally dragged by men who have nothing but disrespect for you. So let me say it one more time. Okay, I'll say it again. This is not about the white woman. It's not about what she said, what she did, or even about what she allowed. It's about the black man who asked for it, the black man who wanted it, the black man who weaponizes his race for kink, attention, and dominance. Until you start holding that man accountable, nothing will change. And black women, you will continue to lose in these situations. So this would be my final word. If you're still confused in 2025 about the race of men that you are protecting, coddling, and making your only preference, that's a choice. The information is out there, the signs are loud, the behavior is documented. You're not being deceived, you're deceiving yourself, black women. Okay, because it hurts to admit that the men you've been fighting for, crying over, defended online, and called king are not the men who you thought they were. Most of them are not victims, they're volunteers. They're not being fetishized, they're asking for it. And instead of protecting you, they're weaponizing your silence, your loyalty, and your denial to keep doing it unchecked. So you can keep blaming white women. Okay, you can keep making excuses. You can keep acting shocked, black women. But just know, every time you do, you're telling the world that you still don't know the men you keep choosing. And at some point, that stops being sad and starts being foolish. Okay, wake up, open your eyes. Stop protecting men who wouldn't lift a finger to protect you. Because the truth is, they're not hiding it anymore. They're showing you exactly who they are. And the only question left is, are you finally ready to believe them? I hope you all liked this video. Maybe I'll be back soon to make another video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching my video. And yeah, I'll be back soon. Bye.